Hi, I just upgraded and built a new computer and I wanted to walk through it. I'm not going to do an entire unboxing and get too detailed, but we'll go into some of the rationale and some of the things that I did to build it. I've been building systems for 25 years. I've never bought a store-bought computer. And it's been about 4 or 5 years since I built a system, so it was time to upgrade. And what I went with was the AMD Ryzen 7 3700X. And I am really impressed with how fast this is. This processor, for the dollar is much cheaper than what Intel sells. And for the first time in a long time, AMD really is doing well in the processor market. For motherboard, I got an ASRock X570. I could have gotten the X470, but I figured I'd go with a better model. I probably won't use all the features, and this is more of a gaming motherboard. But that's okay, because I'll have this probably 3 to 5 years, and it's possible even more. So, very impressed with this and everything that it came with. For a GPU, I went with the GeForce GTX 1660 with an MSI. Typically, for graphics cards, I don't buy anything that's all that significant. Usually it's just bottom of the line. But because now video encoding and some of the things that I do require the GPU, this is going to really help out. And it's 6 gigs. And really looking forward to using this. But I'm not a gamer. So this is really overkill. But that's fine, because this is something I'll have for a number of years. In terms of memory, I never purchase name brand memory unless it's a really good deal. But this is something by the name of OLOy or OLOy. Bottom line, it's PC4 memory. It's 24,000. It's the 3000 megahertz, which natively is overclocked. So I will go faster than the normal spec for PC4. These are two 16 gig chips, which allows me to harness the dual channel. So 32 gigs total. And I'm happy with this as well. I kind of bought this kind of at a budget, but I've done this in the past with memory. And then finally, I don't know a lot about Sabrent, but this was a M.2 SSD drive that goes directly on the motherboard. It had a lot of really good reviews. And 512 is more than what I need to install the Windows 10 OS, all the significant apps, and I have swap and temp files there. But purchased this as well. All this equipment, for the first time ever, was purchased off of Amazon. Normally, I'm a Newegg guy, or I go to like electronics type places. But the issue was they were out of stock on the Ryzen, and Amazon had everything, so I just ended up buying from them. And it came from Amazon, and I put it together, and it's working like a charm. I bought a Corsair case. It's very basic. It's only like a $70 case. But we'll walk through this a little bit more when I get to the next part of the video. So all the other components were migrated from other places. I do have a new power supply. It's a 600-watt power supply. New fans. And a couple other things, but we'll get into that as I open this up. Here's the inside of the case, and I have not powered it up for this particular video, but we'll do it next time. There's the AMD Ryzen CPU. We got a fan here that's pulling out. I got two fans on top. One is pulling out, one is pulling cool air in. I also have a fan that's pushing cool air in from the front. And there's vents here, so it's designed to do that. I've got two optical drives. And you say, why the hell would you have optical drives? Well, I do have a DVD burner and a Blu-ray burner. I figured let's keep them. They're still relevant because there are times where I do wish to use optical media. But they're basically pretty much brand new, and they're from my previous system. So they were good, and I put them in there. I've got a hard drive right here, which is an 8 terabyte drive. It's my data drive. Down here, below that Steel Legend logo, It's actually right down here is where the M.2 drive is. That whole thing comes up and there's an M.2 drive. There's a fan there on that Steel Legend ASRock panel, and it keeps the M.2 drive cool. So that's down there. We've got the GeForce GTX 1660. Right there, those two white strips are the 32 gigs of memory, and you'll see how I have them alternated so that we harness the dual channel capability. Bought a new Thermaltake 600 watt power supply, and you'll see that I bundled all the cables as best as possible. And this case is okay. It has some cable management in the back. I'm not all that particular about making sure that it looks perfect, but I did want airflow to flow nicely. So I did bundle the wires together and I did put stuff behind. This is probably one of the cleanest setups that I've done in the past. Okay, here's the system turned on. There's the AMD fan as well as the LED show that it puts on. I also have a Corsair fan that has blue LEDs that just stays that way. Two just generic no color Corsair fans, as well as the one that's in the front. I can't show it right there easily. The motherboard itself also has LEDs, as this is a gaming machine. There's even one back there that's kind of tucked away. So it's kind of neat. I will say it is kind of fun having all the lights, but it's not something I'm accustomed to having. When I take a look at my pass mark rating, it's quite impressive. My system is at a 98th percentile. This is running all tests. Keep in mind, I also scored down a little bit because I'm not using 4K. My eventual system will have two monitors, but they're not even 4K at that. So I take a look here. My system is 98th percentile. CPU is actually 99th percentile, so it means that the Ryzen 7 is incredibly fast. When I go to the 2D mark, I'm at 77th percentile. 3D is 97th percentile. The memory is 91%, so that's that generic memory, but it is dual channel. To get to everything, I got to expand here. And then the disk, this is that disk, that SSD or the M.2, that is at 99th percentile. So the whole system itself, I am very, very happy with the way this turned out. Incredibly, incredibly fast. So that is it. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. Purpose of the video just was to talk about what I did. If I had any regrets, I really don't have any, but this is not a gaming case, and you'll see how a lot of this stuff is tight and it doesn't show all of the LED things. So maybe a little bit bigger case, but I really wasn't looking for a gaming case. And this does have a window, so when I do put this on, I will have a window to be able to see through it. But anyways, make some comments and we will go from there.